Today on IMARA Woman magazine, backlash and protest against Indiana's religious freedom law almost cost the state the NCAA Final Four games. Some say South Carolina law is similar and could allow businesses to discriminate against the LGBT community. And terrorists mass murdered more than 140 people at the university in Nairobi, Kenya. And many around the world complained that not enough attention was given to this important story. Do Black Lives Matter? And she's back. USC Lady Gamecock Basketball SEC Freshman Player of the Year Asia Wilson. After this year's incredible season, what's next for Asia and the Lady Gamecocks? All this and more today on IMARA Woman magazine. Hot topic. Indiana and South Carolina have these religious freedom laws. Now they are under great criticism. In Indiana, in fact, they almost lost the NCAA Final Four games because of it. But essentially, the issue is that many folk feel that these religious freedom laws are just an excuse, an example to allow businesses to discriminate against the LGBT community. What do you think? Is it or is it not?
I think that's an awfully slippery slope. Mm-hmm. You know, these are similar to some of the same laws that were enacted by Bill Clinton years ago when he was president. I know a lot of folks have taken that angle, especially because there's been so much debate about gay marriage. Mm-hmm. That's not what we're here to get into. But, you know, I believe in religious freedom. That's what our country was founded on. I think it's very important. You know, full disclosure, I am a Christian. But I feel very strongly that whether you're a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Buddhist, whatever, that you should have the freedom to practice that religion, free from government interference. And I think if a baker, this is what's the example that's always given, right, is the baker that doesn't want to bake a wedding cake for the gay couple.
Right.
You know, I think they have a right to refuse that. And if I were part of the gay couple, I would think, well, I don't want to give you my money anyway. I'm going to go on down the street and find somebody who will. Now, if that same baker refuses to do a birthday cake or sell them some cookies or, you know, any other kind of offering in the bakery, I think that is discrimination. You know, it's a fine line. If I'm a minority business owner, let's go back to the baker, and you know, two people come in white sheets and hey, bake me a cake for our 50th anniversary gala for me and my friends in the KKK. I should be able to say, take a hike. You know, and so I think there's a fine line. You know, as long as you would serve them otherwise.
Okay.
You get where I'm going with this?
You're distinguishing between the business owner that doesn't want to provide for the gay wedding, but will provide for everything else.
Right.
But how do we know that that business owner will provide for everything else?
Absolutely. I think, first of all, let me give a face and a voice to this. My son is gay, okay? And I am a Christian, and my son is a Christian. But I knew when my son was 3 years old that he was gay. See, medical science has proven that sometimes there's a mix-up in the second trimester of the mom's womb. So what I am saying is sometimes we talk about the gay and lesbian community as if they're over there and we're over here. And what has happened in this, even in the country and in the world, is we have this thing about separate. And I think I know more bloodshed has been done under the name of religion than any other thing And so we have to be very careful about what we say is wrong and is right, because we're trying to take a book that has been translated over 300,000 times and try to create a culture and a group of laws that we can live by. So anytime you exclude anyone and you have a public business, then you need to make that business private. If you have problems with gays, if you have problems with lesbians, if you have problems with the Ku Klux Klan. So, but when you got a group of people, as my son, that didn't choose gay, it chose him. Okay, so it's not necessarily a lifestyle choice for everyone who says, my son has tried to commit suicide twice because of religion saying you don't fit in. My son has been on his knees begging me to pray for him, that God would change him. I love men. I'm attracted to men. I can no longer change that in me, because you can't pray that off of me. That's how I was born. So I say that to say, you know, we have to be very careful with how we use religion to ice out a group of people for something that may not have been their choice.
Well, and my point is, I think so much of this debate has become about that community.
It's not all about them.
And it's not.
Right.
It applies on so many other levels.
Right. I totally agree with you, but it has been made. The media has made it that. That's not the focus, but the media has made it that. So we have to address it, and I'm addressing it from a mother's standpoint, where I know what these people go through. I know what my son has gone through. I know how my son has been beaten and at knife point because of this. I know what goes behind the scene. And as a Christian, I have compassion and love for people. If my son was born with no arms and he had to eat and cook with his feet because of something, that he was a birth defect or something, you don't cook with your feet. That's not natural. Like people like to say it's not natural, but it's something that someone has to do. It didn't choose them. It was chosen for them. So we have to be very, very careful when we perceive something. So I'm a Christian and that says, okay, well, we're not, we don't believe in gay and lesbian. We have to be very careful about that.
I mean, I think about how Jesus would treat gay folks.
Absolutely.
He would love them. He would embrace them. But, back to the religious thing, say there is a Muslim baker, just staying with the baker thing, y'all. And, somebody wanted to come in for a bachelor party and have him do a naked woman cake. He should be able to say, I'm sorry that, that's not something that we would do, but perhaps there's another bakery down the road that might be able to serve you.
Well, ladies, this is a really touchy topic, but we need to take a break. We'll be right back.
It's different here. So different that it will change everything you expect from a hospital. Because here, the care you receive transcends even the beauty of your surroundings. And not only does it look different, it also sounds and tastes and feels like something you've never experienced before. Introducing Palmetto Health Baptist Park Ridge. Choose a physician by visiting us online or by calling 803-296-CARE.
Okay, we're back. We had to take a break, and this is obviously a topic that we may never solve. But I would hate it if my son was gay and he went to the bakery or wherever and he was denied services because he's gay, but then the pastor, should he be forced to perform a marriage for people that are gay, it's just it's mind-boggling. I don't know. I don't know if really it is an abomination. If it's not an abomination, I don't know.
Well, you're probably not by yourself.
Right.
I mean, this is a tough issue.
And again, I just want to point out, it's been made to be about this community, and it really isn't. There are so many other levels and factions that we can speak to.
But I do think, in all honesty, we need to look at it through this lens, because even though it may be broader than just the LGBT community, it is that focus that people are most concerned about. And it's that focus that they are using this law to really do things that perhaps they would not do with other classes or individuals. So I think there needs to be this discussion. It's okay for people to change their minds.
Yeah.
If the president has evolved on gay marriage. Everyone thinks a little differently when the issue strikes home.
Right.
Because then you start to think, okay, is it love, or do I just turn the love off because someone does something that's against what I thought was the true way of life? So as a mother, you can't turn that love off.
Right,
But
you can't.
certain business people say, well, they love the Lord, and they shouldn't be forced to make this decision between a stranger who comes into their store and wants them to photograph their wedding, and it's a gay wedding. What's the answer? I don't know what the answer is, but I do know this. Discrimination is against the law.
Yes.
On all levels.
On all levels. So how do we reconcile these laws with the bigger freedom to not be discriminated against?
Well,
So I think if
yeah.
we keep that focus, we'll come close to the right decision.
Right.
Well, you can't legislate love, and I think that's the thing. Love transcends everything, and we're trying to legislate love. And like Donna said, what would Jesus do if he was here and she feels like, he would not back away from the gay
absolutely not.
community. And so it's all about love is the answer to every single question, and it transcends everything. And we're trying to legislate it. And it's really about the hearts of people, of men and women.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Hate to move on to the next topic, but we got to. I think, Angie, you're handling that one.
Yes. We're going to talk about, a few weeks ago, there was 147 students that were killed at the University of Kenya by terrorists. And they were reportedly murdered because they couldn't recite a portion of the Quran.
And they were Christians.
And they were
Mhm.
Christians, absolutely. So our point here today to talk about, our discussion is, why didn't mainstream media give this a voice and give it a face? I found out about it on social media, and so did a lot of
As
other
did
people.
I.
So is it that Black lives don't matter?
But here's the flip side of that coin that we were just talking about, where, just across the ocean, they're being murdered
Yeah.
for being Christian.
Right. Right. Because they couldn't recite portions of the Quran, they were killed.
Right, another discrimination.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which makes the point. But to your broader point about the media and the lack of attention given to this story and the mass murder on that scale, it's a crying shame, really, that more people didn't know. That I found out about it on social media. I heard a blurb or two on the news, national news, but not the regular national news. It was just like a talk show, national news show. And it is shameful that, that this can happen. These were people at a college, at a university.
And young people.
Middle of the night, brought out, and if they couldn't, recite portions of the Quran, just shot down. And some of them had to run for their lives. And we just didn't hear enough about it. It was a terrorist attack.
It was a terrorist attack.
It was a terrorist attack. And I don't know, I think it does connect to a lot of what we see in America and a lot of what we're seeing all around the world, that somehow Black lives just don't matter as much in the minds of not even the media, let alone, to larger and broader communities. Because quite honestly, when people see those images, it's hard for that not to matter to you.
Well, here in South Carolina, just very recently,
Yep.
down in North Charleston
Yep.
with Walter Scott.
Yep.
And I'm proud of our state. They stepped in immediately
And did what
and
they
said,
did.
"You're a murderer. We are arresting you for murder."
Right.
Do you think we're getting to a place with humanity that we are becoming, collectively, we're becoming sort of seared? The Bible talks about our consciousness being seared, that life in itself has no meaning. And I think collectively we've got to take a look at humanity needing an overhaul. We've got to have some discussions, yes, some conversations, but we've got to come up with some new ways of showing up and new ways of being with each other, even when we're different, And even when we don't agree, I mean, right here we sit and we talk, and there are things that we don't necessarily agree with, but we do it with such love and respect. And how can we take this and translate it into the world? And so I think we're becoming a fearful group of people, fearful of what we don't understand, or something that's different from us.
I'm desensitized.
Yeah,
to your point.
desensitized,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it
In a
has to
way.
be horrific, and even when it's horrific, sometimes if it's not where we think it should be, or if it's in a community where we think, that's what happens there, we just kind of shrug it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever happened to the girls? Were they ever
Yeah,
rescued?
in Nigeria, yeah.
Absolutely.
Some were never found. It is a sad commentary. It's a subject that we have to revisit because there is some real deep concerns about the value of human life, and there are especially
Yeah, that's
concerns
it.
about the value and the respect of Black
Black
lives. We won't solve it today, but we will be back on this topic. We got some good news and some exciting news in our next segment. We have Asia Wilson in our studio today. So
Lady
stay with
Gamecock.
us, Lady Gamecock Asia Wilson, and we'll be right back.
We all have something neatly tucked away in the back of our mind. A secret hope. That thing we've always wanted to do. It's not about having dreams. It's about reaching them. An ally for real possibilities. AARP. Find tools and direction at aarp.org/possibilities.
Well, welcome back. We are so excited to have with us once again Asia Wilson. She is the star freshman player for the Gamecock women's basketball team. Some of you may recall she was here just a few months ago and sat with Wendy and I was trying to convince her to be a Gamecock, and I'm so glad that you took our advice. That's right, and you were getting ready for the prom. And now flash forward not quite a year, and you have been to the Final Four. First time in school history. Amazing. So you have had quite a freshman season. A lot of honors and accomplishments for you and the team. What keeps you focused and grounded?
I would just have to say my parents, honestly. They really helped me out, and just believing in the Lord. He's just blessed me with so much, and I just really don't take anything for granted. And my parents really nail that into my head. It's just really don't take anything for granted, and just always know where you are. Just always be true to yourself, and that's something that just keeps me going, no matter how I'm playing on the court or just how life is going off the court.
That's so wonderful. What do you enjoy most about being on the team now that you're playing at the college level?
I really just love my teammates.
Yeah, I can tell you all look like you get along well.
We just we're like sisters. We're all those sisters that we didn't want. Like, we get mad at each other. We just throw things at each other. So we're those sisters that we really didn't want, but we still love. So they really keep me going. They help me out a lot. They really do. Like me being a freshman, like you said, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
So the girls that have already been through it, the veterans, they really help me out in hard times because they've been through, and they're like, "Aisha, we're gonna get through this." I'm like, "You sure?" They're like, "Yeah, we got through it." So they really just keep me going. That has to be the part that I love the most.
But first of all, you're very gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yes, she is kind of cute, isn't she?
She's beautiful.
And very tall.
Yes, beautiful. Well, this has been a year first. First year in college, first year living from under mom and dad's roof, first year playing basketball. Tell us about what is the greatest lesson you've learned from being this first for you. A lot of firsts.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I guess I just have to be true to yourself, because like you said, it's a transition from high school to college, and a lot of things get in your way of your goal. And I set goals for myself, I set goals for the team, we have goals for the team, but it's really just being true to yourself and sticking with those goals. And it's going to get tough because you have people that's going to try to knock you down or just try to get in your way of your goals. But really, if you be true to yourself and believe in the Lord, it's a good old ride then. So that's something that I really kind of kept with me going through the season and going through my life in the transition over from high school to college.
Well, you carry with you a light that is just so bright. And it's beyond basketball. I mean, you really carry something, and I can tell that, of course, is God. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now
So-
talk a little bit about your relationship with Dawn State.
Yes.
How's it been? I mean, I'm sure she
was
had
the
to factor into your decision to choose Carolina.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Coach Staley has done pretty much everything that I wanted to do as a basketball player. And I mean, making my decision, I kind of thought who would be a better person to teach me how to go through those roles than a person that's actually been through it herself. So that really stuck out to me when I was making my college decision. And I got some time to spend time with Coach Staley in the summer with USA basketball, and we kind of became close there before I actually got to the USC campus. So really that was a lot of fun. Got to know kind of the Coach Staley, the funny Coach Staley. She may seem angry all the time because that's just her coaching mode, but she has a sweet little innocent little mom side to her. It's so cute. I love it. She really shows it. But like the girls, we know that she has it in her. So sometimes when she steps up, we're like, okay, Coach Staley. Like, we know that. We know the real Coach Staley. So I mean, we have a great relationship. We really do. She's kind of my mom away from my actual mom when I'm on campus. She makes sure I'm going to class. She makes sure my grades are great. So just keeps going. I love her so much.
That's the making of a really good coach and a good friend.
Yeah.
So what are your aspirations beyond this year? What's next season look like for the Lady Gamecocks?
I think it looks exciting. I think
Yeah.
we have a lot. I mean, we've proved so much this year that it's just the great can only just come later. And I think we have a new freshman girl coming in from Canada, and
Really?
yeah. So we should be interesting to see how she comes into play. And we're really just kind of keeping our heads straight. Really, we see that what we can do, and we know that we have some unfinished business, and we still have that
Just a little,
goal.
huh?
Yeah, we have a little bit. So I mean, we have that bad taste in our mouth, but it's that good bag taste where we want to go after it. And I think we're all on the same page still. I think, of course, we're going to lose 3 great seniors, but I think we're going to expect something big time coming next year.
Well, what's your favorite part about being a Lady Gamecock?
Oh, my favorite part about being a Lady Gamecock, I guess this year is just like being that history book. We set that path for such great girls coming into the program that had to be the best thing to kind of know later on in life when I look back. And I tell my daughter or my son, I tell my kids, we started that. That's something that we started. We brought that back to the university. So I guess that legendary feeling when girls coming in and they're like, oh, yeah, you're that team that went to the Final Four for the first time. We're like, yeah, we're that team. So I guess it's that's really just like, that puts a smile on my face every day. That's just something that we did.
Do you see yourself as a really big role model? Because I can imagine that there are some little girls at your church or in your neighborhood that just look up to you more than you can even imagine.
Yeah, I hear it sometimes, I do, but sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, y'all don't really know me. I don't clean my room. My parents have to tell me to do things over and over again. You sure you want to follow my footsteps? But then I look and it's just an honor. It really is that girls kind of wake. I mean, I kind of wake up and want to be like, I want to be Beyonce, and girls wake up and they're like, we want to be Asian. I'm like, so I mean, it's great. It really is. And I went to the mall today, and this girl's just like hyperventilating. And I'm like, calm down. There's something on me. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, you're Asia Wilson. I'm like, oh yeah. And then they see that I'm human, because normally they kind of forget that I am human. They just think I'm something else. I don't know. So it's just great to have that kind of people looking up to you.
Have you been asked for your autograph?
I have.
What was that like the first time somebody said, "Oh, can I have your autograph"?
I was just in shock. I was like, why you don't mind? Like, I didn't do anything. So it does. It sometimes it never gets old. It really doesn't. I mean, I'm just blessed to have kids really coming up to me.
I know I was excited when I saw you. I was like, come take a picture with me. I put it on Facebook. Like, I met her.
Well, it's been a long way for you, an exciting road since the cover of IMARA, and we knew back then, a couple of years ago, that you were going to be a phenom, and you have lived up to every expectation. Now, I got to ask you this. When you were here the last time, I think you were interested in, was it psychology?
I was.
So how's that going? Have you decided on that?
Yeah, I'm taking psychology. That's what I'm majoring in.
Oh,
and I'm taking
so you
a
like
few
to mess with
courses.
people's heads?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. I just think because we all think differently. And I think that just amazes me how much we think just so different. So, I mean, I would love to kind of dig down deep and see what people are really thinking and what makes people do things the way they do it. And I'm taking a couple courses now that I want to pull my hair out, but it's all a part of it. And, I mean, they're helping me out. Their academic advisor at university is helping me out a ton. So I'm loving it.
So I got to say this because the accolades that you have won in receive just in your freshman year are really amazing.
Well, number one in the country before she even started in high school.
Absolutely.
And then all the SEC honors and the, what is it, all team honor. I think it's really, really wonderful.
Thank you.
On and off the court. Obviously, your psychology is working on the court as well because you're messing with a lot of your offensive teams' head and winning a lot of games, which is great.
I know your parents must be so proud. Every time we speak, I'm proud. I didn't even
Yeah,
get
I
up to
know,
you.
right? I know. And we are proud.
Shout out for Eva and Roscoe, right?
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Well, AJ, thank you so much for being such a great and positive role model to everyone in South Carolina and to young girls everywhere. And we'll be right back.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Well, ladies, the IMARA Anniversary Gala was wonderful. 15 years of IMARA. Thank you so much for being fabulous MCs on Gala night. You all
thank
did
you.
a great
Thank
job. Did you have fun?
A wonderful event.
Amazing.
Yes, wonderful
It's
event.
so nice to see the students come from the colleges and get their scholarships that evening and be able to really mix and mingle with all the people in the room and be reminded that that's their lives in 4 or 5 years if they just hang in there and get that degree.
Right. Everybody looks so beautiful.
Yeah, get dressed
You
up.
did look kind of cute, didn't
I have my red dress on for Valentine's.
Good music,
Oh,
good
yeah.
entertainment.
Hank did a great job.
Very good.
That young man is so talented. He's
Yes.
got a
Oh,
great
Hank, yeah.
he's got a great future. Shout out to Hank Paleo.
It was a wonderful evening.
It was.
For a
It
wonderful
was.
cause.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Now, what do we do for year 16?
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16,
Get
Amara.
MTV in.
Oh, okay.
That would be great. Great.
Well, thank you, ladies, for all that you did to make sure that the event was a success. And thank you for what you do every day for Amara. Really appreciate you. I'm blessed.
Thank you.
for
Thanks,
the
Wendy.
opportunity.
Well, folks, that completes our show today. We hope that you enjoyed it and that you learned something that really empowers you and inspires you.
And remember, you can watch IMARA Woman on television the 4th Sunday of every month. And be sure to catch us anytime on our website at imarawoman.com.
Don't forget to like IMARA Woman Magazine on Facebook.
And follow IMARA Woman Magazine on Twitter.
And shout out to Quintina Smith. She submitted the Healthy Selfie for this week's show. And we are delighted. Looking good, girl. And you send us your Healthy Selfies too at healthyself@imarawoman.com. Well, until the next time, ladies, and you out there,